On down the path they rode, soon breaking free of the trees, coming at last to an open area standing before the thorp, the land cleared as a defense against skulking raiders. Elgo reined shade to a halt, the black obeying instantly, and all the Vanadurn spread wide and stopped as well, flanking their prince, with Rurik at Elgo's side, all weapons remaining scabbarded. Out of the shadows of the palisades rode young Raynor upon a bay, and as he neared it could be seen that his blue eyes sparkled, and a great smile split his features. "Hail, my prince!" cried the blond youth, but a year younger than Elgo's own scant 22 summers. "The stad awaits your pleasure!" And he turned and signaled to the sentries along the walls. As the column of the Harlinger rode in through the open wooden gates, Elgo could see that the town entire had assembled to see the visiting prince. Yet here and there among these fisher folk, his eyes also saw hard visages of others, of warriors, of dragon ship crews. Fjordsmen were they all, yet some drew their living from the sea, while others plied from the sea for their living. The Fjordsmen's hair and beards were yellow, and copper, and red, and their skin was fair or ruddy, and some sported great wide mustachios. Flaxen and honey and auburn tresses adorned the women, and they bore pale complexions, and some were freckled. And everywhere clear blue eyes looked forth upon the riders. A fair folk were they, and in this they were unto the Vanadurn. But this did not surprise Elgo, for it was said that the Fjordsmen and Harlinger had sprung from the same root. Yet one folk took the sea to the ships, while the others roamed ahorse the sea of grass. Raynor led the column to the Stadhall, a great sod-covered longhouse in the center of the hamlet, and there on the wooden steps awaiting the prince were the village elders, as well as the captains of the dragon ships. The formal greeting had been short but hearty, and the feasting that followed most welcome by Elgo and his men, for they had been many days in the saddle, and field rations grow weary to the tongue. Roast pig there was, and fish, and baked bread, as well as a thick vegetable stew. Horns of ale and honeyed mead flowed freely, and ship's skalds sang of the heroes of elden days. And Elgo's viridian eyes lighted up to hear of such men and of such deeds. And early during the feast one poet sang of Sleeth the Orm and the taking of the treasure of Blackstone. And during the telling, it was hard for the Vanadurn to maintain a pose of polite interest, and a silence fell upon them, and they looked everywhere but at one another. Yet none of the Fjordsmen seemed to take note of their studied nonchalance. But the moment passed when the tale came to an end, and another bard took up a bawdy ode of Snorri, Bori's-son, and the mystical maid of the maelstrom, the Harlinger singing lustily with all the rest. Meat and bread and pig and fish and ale and stew were each consumed in prodigious quantities, and thralls rushed hither and thither and replenished empty platters, and depleted pots and drained pitchers. And night fell as the feast went on, but still the singing continued. And even the young men must rest at last, so they did. Some fell asleep in their platters, while others curled up on the floor. Still others found a willing maid, and where they went it is not told. And there were those who left the Stadhall to sleep in places prepared for them. Among these were Elgo and Rurik. And as he drifted off into summer, Rurik's thoughts turned to Sleeth the Orm, and the Vanadurn warrior's mind strayed to a time past when Elgo had first heard of the great cold drake's taking of Blackstone. For in a manner of speaking, it was Rurik who had introduced the youngling to this tale of Sleeth the dragon.